on OSRC television. My name is Odunayo Sawyer. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Our young people are living during a period of accelerated change driven by an increased focus on diversity, sustainability, and technology. The rapid onset of Industry 4.0, which is advanced connected manufacturing, will further change the nature of work and require new skills and competences. It is estimated that 60% of Nigeria's population is under the age of 25, making it the youngest country in Africa. It is vital to invest in youth and help them reach their potential to secure the economy for the future. On the show this morning is Victor Olaleye, the founder of a youth-focused organization. He is a serialpreneur, a young innovator, and the CEO of iBrand, to take a look at how the youth can be empowered for global disruption. Thank you once again for joining us on Business Today. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. Don't go away. All right, welcome back. In its latest report titled World Economic Outlook, a Rocky Recovery, April 2023, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has maintained Nigeria's economic growth projection at 3.2% for 2023. The IMF, however, revised Nigeria's economic growth projection for 2024 upward from 2.9% to 3.0%. According to the report, despite the expected fall in global economic growth from 3.4% in 2022 to 2.8% in 2023, Nigeria and other emerging market economies with inflation targeting monetary policies are not likely to closely follow the global natural rates in the short term, suggesting a slight divergence in the trajectory of rate hikes in the short term compared to developed economies. The IMF report indicates that the probability of a recession in 2023 is estimated to be around 15%, which usually occurs during a global recession. Analysts note that authorities would need to focus on consolidating the fight against inflation. In a letter addressed to the Federal Ministry of Finance, oil marketers have expressed their intent to deploy gas dispensers to 30,000 filling stations nationwide to cushion the impact of fuel subsidy removal. In the letter by Chinedu Okonkwo, the national president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, the association appealed to the federal government to direct the Central Bank of Nigeria to release the 250 billion naira intervention fund for the National Gas Expansion Program as loans to vehicle owners to acquire gas conversion kits. Analysts say domestic LPG processing accounts for roughly 40% of current demand, with substantially lower CNG processing volumes. According to them, installing gas dispensers at filling stations and converting automobiles to autogas in the absence of adequate domestic gas processing would increase demand for imports and push up gas costs, given the free falls of the country's exchange rate. Meanwhile, analysts maintain that only the actual removal of petrol subsidy, which would effectively end the era of cheap petrol alternatives and considerably raised petrol pump prices, would drive motorists and other users to convert from petrol to gas usage. And the Securities and Exchange Commission has blamed the dwindling level of foreign portfolio investments in the country on scarcity of foreign exchange. Based on data from the National Bureau of Statistics, the foreign portfolio investment, including equity, bonds, and money market instruments, dropped by 27.86% at the end of 2022. Speaking at the end of the first quarter meeting of the Nigerian Capital Market Committee on Thursday, the Director General of the Commission, Lamido Yuguda, stated that the scarce forex situation was making the country unattractive to foreign investors. According to him, no matter how attractive a domestic capital market is, a foreign investor will always factor in the ability to transfer their domestic earnings into foreign exchange so they can repatriate this foreign exchange to their country. He noted that international investors are reporting some delays in accessing foreign exchange for the repatriation of the dividends or their capital, hence the reduced proportion of foreign investors in the Nigerian capital market relative to what the market has been used to. All right, joining me this morning in the studio is Victor Olaleye. He is a serialpreneur, a young innovator, and the CEO of iBrand. This morning to expand the conversation on youth, empowering the youth for global disruption. Thank you so much, Victor, for joining us on our business today.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome to the show. Now, would you let's begin this way. Now, the transition from adolescence to an autonomous life makes an important stage in the life of every youth. Now, as young people reach the age of majority, they gradually leave family home. They enter the workforce and obtain new rights and responsibilities. Now, despite the gains in educational attainment, we have seen that the transition to an independent and productive life has become more difficult for young people. What do you think are the reasons for this?
Well, basically, I feel, as a young person, moving from adolescent age, by becoming an adult gradually, there are some things you begin to think of, like there's a shift in your mindset. You begin to move from, okay, you want to become dependent on your own, and you don't want to rely on other persons. You want to make sure that you are self balanced in everything you are doing. But our environment, it's a really big factor that determines that. And a lot of limitations to youth today, ranging from securing a source of income for yourself, aside parental influence, aside your parents and all other people helping you, but you want to feel like dependent on yourself. But there is it now becomes a big problem for you. So that's why you see people who are unable to do this, or people who don't have access to right information earlier enough. They tend to follow peer pressure into going into things they ought not to do, just because they want to feel self-empowered. So all this, not having access to right information earlier enough, when you are growing, when you are transitioning from that young age to adulthood, would really tell on you how far you are going to go. And two is when you are unable to secure support, talking about financially and in all other areas, you are unable to secure that. And thirdly is getting exposed. That's talking in terms of like specifically your environment, kind of opportunities that are available for you. So these are the main factors I feel would determine the process and what will become of you.
And now, despite the environment, which is an influencing factor, which you mentioned all the time, have Nigerian youths equally strategically positioned themselves to really optimize their potential?
Okay, yeah. Just well, I would say 10% of the 100% are actually doing that, because some other persons, they don't really want to. Some persons don't think about that. Like, what I'm trying to say is that only that 10% will sit themselves down and say, okay, this is happening now. How can I influence the environment? How can I influence all these things to be a support to me, not to bring me down, but how can I leverage on that and make good out of it? So I would say that those 10% I've actually, like, those 10% are the ones that have been able to do something of such. So I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Saying.
So you would talk to yourself and sit yourself down, having the mindset that nobody is coming to save you until you save yourself. So what can I do? How can I things are happening around you, fine, but how can I still, despite all this, create something good for myself, secure a better future for myself, and make sure that I am not left out and I did not disappoint my parents, myself, and my generation.
Okay, now, would you say that the 90% of the 100% are being overwhelmed by challenges in society?
Okay, yes, I would say that. And also, 90% of them don't take action. They don't really, like, practically, from my own observation, experience, and even me personally as a youth, talking in terms of my friends and every other person. At times when I speak to youth, I just go to the street to communicate with some person. So why are you doing this? Why this and that? So, and the response I get, it tells that their mindset has been, okay, our environment is not good, that's fine, there's nothing we can do about it. Let's just continue living our life. There is no hope for us, and something like that. But you need to come to the point of realization, as I've said earlier, that yes, I can do something. I can still do something. All these are not, although there are challenges, there are setbacks, things that you are going to, come across on your way. But you must still have that determination that despite all this, I'm going to succeed.
Now, let's talk about the COVID-19 pandemic, which actually caused significant setbacks for the projects, for the prospects of young people, apart from the challenges being faced, economic challenges and every other, now, all over the world, but particularly in developing countries like Nigeria. Even before the COVID crisis, there were significant challenges, which you have mentioned, with a third of all young people globally not in work, not in education or in any form of training. Now, the pandemic exacerbated the problem and also intensified the pace of change in the labor market and the demand for new skills. What would be your assessment on how prepared Nigerian youths are to take the center stage, to take the global stage?
Okay, well, it was a very, very serious issue, talking about the COVID-19 and everything. But it really, really amazed me that despite the fact that this really caused a huge setback in all areas, not sector, but some persons find this as an opportunity for them to, grow. Like me personally, I'm a testimony of that, because during COVID-19, I was able to find I was able to sit myself down, think, and I was able to plan ahead of my future. And I've also met a lot of persons who also had the same thing, that, okay, during this time, this was what I was able to do. Although it's really, really affected them, but what you would have to do now, like as a youth, like how can you now position yourself is, it has happened, yes, and nobody was prepared for it, right? But looking at what happened, there's a lot of lessons we learned from that. Like, there's some things that are coming that you are not really prepared for. But what I would just say, my advice is that now you are going to sit yourself down. That's the first thing. Everything starts from your mindset. You're going to tell yourself, okay, now how can I prepare for my future? That is just the sunset advice I would give. Like, this has happened. Even you don't know what is coming next, or nobody's praying for something bad, but despite all this, you need to prepare yourself. You need to spread your tentacles to all areas and make sure that you are fully prepared. You acquire new set of skills. You acquire skills. There are some skills that okay, that would sell in the coming years. Like, the world is now going to AI, yes, and it's becoming very, very common. Everybody's now getting aware of it. So you should kind of, every niche you find yourself as a student should acquire new set of skills. Don't be left behind. It's really serious. Some people still say AI, it's fake. Like, I've seen it. Not just phantoming this. Like, some people would say it's not really true, or it will not spread, something like that. But the next 10 years, the next 5 years, things would have changed. So you need to prepare yourself, acquire a new set of skills that will help you expand your horizon and have a broad knowledge. So when challenges comes, when these problems which we are not praying for, but in case, you need to find your way around it, because you've acquired enough knowledge to be able to move. So that's my advice.
Now, you're a serialpreneur, and you're equally a young innovator trying to find solutions to societal problems, to the needs of people and all of that. How well have innovations by Nigerian youths, by Nigerian entrepreneurs, how well have they been ingrained and accepted by the Nigerian population?
Okay, okay. Let me start by saying, innovation, right, is the implementation of ideas, like which will lead to the introduction of new products, new service. As an innovator who has invented some project, like some product, yes. Now, one of the challenges that I face is the acceptability of a thing. People would say, okay, like they rely on goods, they rely on products that are being imported into the country. So they give more priority to them. They give more trust to them. So that's one of the challenges. And to hit new on the head, I'm going to advise young innovators out there, or people who are doing something, that despite the fact that these are happening, don't feel discouraged. Okay, like people want to see that what you are doing is working at times. Although they see that the idea is good, but try as much as possible to. I presented it in a program, in an innovation event, and I won. There was a man. He approached me. Was like, "Wow, I'm really interested. I'm fascinated with what you've just done. So how can we work together? How can we partner together to enlarge the idea even far better than
what you expected?"
Exactly.
Now, when you take a look at government empowerment strategies, would you say we are on the right path? Empowerment of youth.
Okay. Well, on that aspect, I would say they are trying. Yeah,
we've had so many programs.
Yes,
we've had the UN. We had lots.
Lots of
yes.
Them. I would give kudos to them. They are really trying their best, and I would just say, if there can be more channels, more ways through which we youth, young ones who are coming with that idea, Nigeria has a lot of talent. Yes, a lot of talent. A lot of people are really doing massive stuff here. So if we can get more empowerment opportunities, more support, more materials, more to showcase what we've got, for us to push out what we have, and we are able to push them out, use them, I'm very sure we would go far. So that is one of my advice.
Okay.
Governments out there can help us create more opportunities. They've been doing that before. I'm also a beneficiary. Yes, good. So that's why I'm saying that. But we need more.
Okay.
More. A lot of person training programs for young, like camps. Bring them together. Bring experts to come and train them. Okay, if there's any other mistakes, errors, how you can market it, how you can position yourself to your targeted audience. It's one thing for you to have the right product. It's one thing for you to push the product to the right audience. Yes. So it would be very, very funny if you say you are actually selling car and you are pushing your cars to students. They will not buy because they don't have the financial ability to buy. So what I'm saying is, be able to take what you have to the right audience and know how you can position it there and how you can sell them. And
now, for the benefit of our youth, I want you to, because you mentioned that you're a beneficiary of government program, I just want you to talk a bit on that.
Okay. Starting from, it's outside where I was in secondary school.
Okay.
A program like Science Expo, NCATV, all of those programs for project exhibition, science and technology innovation. I actually won a travel down to Abuja for the final something to represent the state, and it was really, really a great opportunity. So you can look out. One thing I do, basically, I must really say this, it will really help, is I always find out myself. Every blessed day, I go online, I go to my Google, what's the latest of. I don't care if it doesn't bring it out, but I search them myself. A lot of other opportunities are even available that I'm not aware of. So I go there, I search for this opportunity, apply for them, and make sure I pushed what I have down to them.
Now, so over the weekend, Victor, you brought together students, young entrepreneurs, and change makers from far and near to inspire, empower, and educate individuals with right knowledge and networking to thrive in their personal and professional lives. What triggered the need? Why was it so important to you?
Okay, to me, it all started while I left school, while I graduated from secondary school. So I was like, I asked myself a question. Your life would be weighted on the impact you made on your environment, not just about yourself alone. It's fine, you are visionary, you are focused, but what change are you making? How are you trying in your best capacity to make sure that you make your environment a better place? That was the question I asked myself. So I started ruminating about it, and it was really a tough time for me though, because for me to really find purpose after school, a lot of things are coming to your head. Learn this, learn that.
I want to do this, I want to do this.
So it took me about 8 months moving from one thing to another, but I still didn't feel that fulfillment that this is what I'm called for. So I would just quickly say this before I move on, that if you are still looking for purpose, I would say you've not tried enough. So just keep trying. If you get there, you will feel that peace, that yes, I am doing what I'm called for. Now let me continue. So